Shout Factory TV, changing the channel.
It's the week of March 10th, 2015, and this week we're transporting deadly demons in Dark Hall.
And Marvel may not be going to San Diego Comic-Con. What?
That and more in your weekly shout-out.
Hey there everybody, welcome to your weekly shout-out. This is the only web show dedicated to keeping you up to date with all things Shout Factory, Blu-ray, and DVD.
From looks at this week's releases to sneak peeks at future releases, this is where you'll find it.
But, just like you, we also like to dive into the water cooler chat.
And this week's a doozy.
Well, I am glad that everyone was able to join us for this week because there may not be a next week if everything I hear on the internet is true and that the world is coming to an end and that Marvel not coming to San Diego Comic-Con this year might mean the end of everything as we know it. Joining me this week is, of course, my co-host, Jennifer Landa.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
Hey, Jen. And then our special guest this week, he is a comic book creator of Love and Capes. He is a podcaster, the host of Comics Assembled, which you can find on iTunes. And he's got new projects to talk about, as well as having written some My Little Pony stuff. So if you're a pony fan, he's one of your guys. Please welcome Tom Zoller.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Hey, Tom. All right, so you guys, oh my God. There's a rumor going around that Comic-Con may not have one of the two big comic publishers, Marvel Comics.
You know, Marvel is able to do their own sort of announcements. You saw them do that with the cinematic universe, where it becomes like an Apple keynote event, and then they can control the media cycle themselves. And I could definitely see them heading in that direction.
Is there really anything for them to talk about? What with the Avengers coming out before Comic-Con? Jen?
Yeah, I agree. I happened to go to the panel last year, the Marvel panel, and it was really cool, you know, seeing all the Avengers there and having a Q&A. I think everyone was hoping for a really big announcement, and they simply announced that Guardians of the Galaxy was getting a sequel, which the movie hadn't even come out yet, the first movie, so it was kind of a little bit of a letdown for fans, but it's not the end of the world. I'm sure they'll have some sort of presence. They just won't be in Hall H.
You watch your mouth, Jen. It is the end of the world if I've ever seen it. Does this mean that DC Comics or the DC universe will get to reign supreme over Comic-Con this year, Tom?
Oh, I think DC would step right up into that. If there's a void, they're going to be the ones to jump into it. And to be honest, DC kind of needs it because they can't coast on their past successes the way that Marvel can.
I agree with Tom. I think that DC would be silly to not step up to the plate. I think we want to see some footage from Batman v Superman. I'd love to see the Suicide Squad cast assemble on stage, or Jason Momoa as a quick appearance as Aquaman. That would be so cool and create the buzz that I think that DC kind of needs right now. I mean, Marvel has, as we talked about, D23 Expo. They've done stuff at New York Comic Con before. Of course, their big Phase 3 announcement at the El Capitan Theater. They don't necessarily need San Diego Comic Con.
So you know who will be at Comic Con? At least I'm making the gamble. You've heard it here first. If you want to actually reference this video, this is where you can link it back to. Surely Sony is going to be talking Ghostbusters because God knows everyone else is right now. There was a weird bombshell that dropped that suggested that Sony too might be trying the Marvel formula, which now DC is kind of trying to do, and that's creating as big a universe as humanly possible with the Ghostbusters franchise. For those that didn't hear, it was sort of announced and then backed up a little bit. Almost a an extension of that female-driven Ghostbusters cast, that there's the possibility of Channing Tatum and yes, even Chris Pratt joining yet another mega franchise.
I was very confused, and I thought, how could they do this? It seems like they're just saying, oh, just kidding. That female-centric Ghostbusters film that you guys were excited about, that's not the real Ghostbusters film. This is the real one with Chris Pratt and what's his name? Channing Tatum, thank you. But I think when I started to remember, we actually found out through the Sony leak back in December that Channing Tatum and the Russo brothers had been pitching a Ghostbuster movie to Sony back in August of last year. And there was actually some discussion amongst the executives about whether or not Paul Feig's Ghostbusters movie could coexist alongside a Channing Tatum movie. And the consensus was, yes, it can.
There's a lot of me that doesn't need to see a Ghostbusters reboot. Now, if you're going to do it as an all-female cast, I think that's interesting. If you're going to start announcing multiple Ghostbuster films, every iteration gets less and less interesting. And then the question is, how far do you go? I mean, is there going to be an Air Bud version where they're all played by dogs?
Well, and it kind of reminds me of, the original pitch that Aykroyd had back in the day, which was that the Ghostbusters were one franchise of an already established industry. And everyone, or a lot of people, know the famous bit that, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was to appear as early as the first third of the film. So it scares me that when you've got something that is that big and that broad, that there's a reason why they decided to make it smaller. And it wasn't simply because of the technology of the day. They actually created a much better, tighter film, and now they're talking about making it bigger again. And I worry about that. Especially given Sony's track record with franchises in the past few years. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Jen, as always, it's been a pleasure. Please tell the good folks at home where they can find you online.
You can find me on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/JenniferLanda or on Twitter at JenniferLanda.
And Tom, what have you got coming up?
IDW just announced my new project coming out right in time for Comic-Con. It's because I will be exhibiting at Comic-Con. The rumors that I am pulling out they are not true. I will totally be there. Called Long Distance, about a couple having a long-distance relationship. It's another romantic comedy. And I'll be there with Love and Capes and My Little Pony. So you can find me at Twitter, at Tom Zoller, and you can find me at my website, thomz.com.
Sweet. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you both. Hold on a second. Let me re-record that.
Really, Selby, I want to talk to you again.
I know. That was a trial run. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate you joining us. Looking forward to talking to you again both very soon. Keep your ears out for more news. As for the rest of you, let us know what you think about these topics down in the comments below in our Shout Factory Roundtable. And I swear we're going to come up with a really good title for that one day. Maybe you can come up with a really good title for our Roundtable. Again, put it down in the comments below. Let us know what you think. And maybe if we choose your title, you'll get something special. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good conversation.
That's right, and there's more of it. Just click right here to see the full discussion.
Now let's check out this week's big new release.
This is Prison Ward heading out of Shaky Town, reporting an A&A, driving an anchor clanker. Got a real Dreamweaver on our hands, over.
Why do you have a southern accent?
What are you talking about? This is how I always sound.
Okay, whatever. Just keep your eyes on the road. We've got to get my demonic brother to the secure location without incident.
Why are we doing this in an 18-wheeler anyway? Wouldn't it be quicker to toss him in the back of a Ferrari or something?
First of all, the trunk is in the front of a Ferrari, and we can't just stuff a demon in a trunk. It has to be... Wait, when you say toss him in the back, what exactly do you mean by that?
Hey guys, do we have any Slim Jims left?
Holy tarnation, you scared me!
I thank God. I thought you meant you toss the demon in the back seat instead of in the trailer.
No, I'd never do that. I'd never do that, but he might.
He was supposed to be in the trailer.
Yes!
Y'all might want to pull over, you hear?
In the new world, the 13th child of a 13th child will be born, man and beast.
Some sort of power connects me to my brother. As we grew older, it grew stronger. They call themselves the Keepers. These men who have held us prisoners since birth.
Beast or man, one shall fall. We have him contained and weakened. If there was ever a time to do this, it's now.
They've tried to hide us from the world.
She has to die too. She's not like her brother. She has a devil in her.
He's loose.
If we let her, she'll lead us right to the beast.
He'll find us and kill you all.
Help me recapture your brother, and I will give you your freedom. There's no good in your brother. No love, only pain.
Only what you put there. And it's time.
Shut him down!
I can't control him!
Also out this week, Jasper, Journey to the End of the World,
Power Rangers Lost Galaxy Complete Series,
Pee-wee's Playhouse Seasons 3, 4, and 5,
NCME, the final season,
and Fireball XL5, the complete series, and Shane, the complete series.
That's it for now. Join us next week for a look at Mod and another look at today's pop culture news bombs.
Until then, stay current with Shout Factory and Scream Factory news by following us on Twitter and liking us on Facebook.
And don't forget to subscribe right here to keep up with brand new episodes of your weekly shout out and lots more Shout Factory goodies.
Till next week, I'm Brian Ward.
And I'm Jennifer Landa, and you've been watching
Your Weekly Shout Out.